GoPro has released a new action camera, which can mean only one thing. Its biggest rival, DJI, has released another model too. Say hello to the OSMO Action 5 Pro. This is what it looks like, and this is what it can do. So, two things from that film. Number one, I'm very unfit and needed a long lie down after all that cycling. Number two, the Action 5 Pro is capable of capturing some pretty impressive footage. Now, a quick history lesson. This is the 5th version of the Osmo Action, and I've owned all 5 of them. We started out with the original, then we went sort of curveball with the modular Action 2 before DJI saw sense and returned with the Osmo 3 and the Osmo Action 4, which were sort of pretty similar sort of form factors, and now we've got the Osmo Action 5 Pro. Let's start with the name, which suggests there could be additional versions of the 5, perhaps in a more stripped back, entry level and affordable option. Who knows? Today we're looking at the full fat Pro iteration, and my word, this brings some cool new features to those looking to film content with a rugged and compact solution. First up, while the size of the sensor in the Action 5 Pro is the same 1/1.3 inch found in the older Action 4, DJI says this is actually an all-new next generation sensor, and the footage I've recorded would back this up. One of the benefits of this next generation sensor is that the camera can capture up to 13.5 stops of dynamic range, plus a super night mode with AI noise reduction will help you shoot in low light conditions. As you saw from the bike film though, I shot in a mix of lighting conditions and was impressed with the dynamic range, which is definitely a step up from the previous models. Next up, let's talk about profiles. We already had 10-bit D-Log-M in the Action 4, but the Action 5 Pro introduces HLG Hybrid Log Gamma 2. This is a big deal and will allow videographers to really push the colour grading in post-production using software such as Premiere Pro. Throughout my testing of the Action 5 Pro, the HLG profile was consistently my favourite, and I have to agree that the footage is clearer and cleaner than its predecessors. Now, it isn't all rosy in the garden, as the footage from the Action 5 Pro is still limited to a max resolution of 4K. This is despite GoPro offering 5.7K footage. Now, do you really need 5.7K? That's a question for you. But I'll be honest and say 4K is probably enough for me for now and the content I shoot. Worth noting though, you can still shoot 4K footage at 120p, meaning you can capture high resolution slow motion footage, and this can also be recorded in our new HLG profile. Also new is the subject tracking mode, which seems to work frighteningly well, and it would be well suited to those using the Action 5 Pro to vlog. That said, this mode does come with a compromise, and the fact is that it's limited to 2.7K, and on top of that it's also limited to landscape orientation shooting, which is a shame for those who'd want to use this mode to film upright for social media use. Although the battery has the same physical dimensions as the Osmo 3 and 4, DJI's engineers have managed to make it higher capacity, and this means you can film for longer, with a big hike in efficiency returning at an operating time close to 4 hours from a single charge. Although if you do need more power, that clever charging case is included in the bundle. Now, from my testing, I probably wouldn't want to head out with just one battery, and I'm sure the new battery is a lot better, but I like to review the footage as I go along, and that means I need multiple batteries every time I head out the door, but props to DJI for improving the battery. Let's move on and talk about stills for a minute, because one of the downsides of the Osmo 4 was that the stills were limited to around 12 megapixels of resolution, which was pretty disappointing. However, the Action 5 Pro moves this up to 40 megapixels, and that sees a pixel count jump from 4000 by 2256 pixels on the Action 4 to 7296 by 5472 pixels on the Action 5 Pro. Of course, you can still shoot on RAW and JPEG formats. Also new for the Action 5 Pro is the inclusion of internal storage. 47 gigabytes of internal storage to be exact. Now, I love this feature because I've been caught out before when you're swapping in and out micro SD cards and you leave one behind and you go to record and you've just not got any memory. So the internal storage is sort of like a safety net to protect you from this mishap, but it also extends the amount of time you can shoot content without needing to physically touch the camera, which is important if you're capturing something like a time lapse or hyperlapse. Now, physically, the Action 5 Pro is the same size as the Action 4, but weirdly, the recording button is ever so slightly more pronounced, and this may mean that the new version may struggle to fit into some third-party cages. Now, I used the DJI Tech cage with my Action 4, and it was just sort of an awkward fit for the 5. The physical side of the lens as well is different, but again, depending on what cage accessories you're using, you should still be able to use the additional ND or CPL filters you can buy off the internet. Now, one of the coolest features with the Action 5 Pro is the fact that you can now pair it with the DJI Mic 2 transmitter via Bluetooth, enabling you to capture much better audio, and this will be of great interest again to vloggers. Pairing the mic with the Action 5 Pro is pretty easy and takes just a few seconds. So let's check out an example of the internal mic versus that DJI Mic 2 transmitter. Okay, this is the audio quality as I'm cycling around using the internal mic of the camera of the Action 5 Pro. So this is the standard sort of audio that you'll get. Now, as you can see, I've added the wireless Mic 2 transmitter, and this is the audio you get, and I must point out it's got the wind muff on as well. So we're going fairly fast now, and this is the audio quality. Is it any better? I'll let you be the judge of that while I've tried to avoid a crash here. So what do I really think about the Action 5 Pro? Well, hands down, it's certainly an improvement over the Action 4. It's got a lot more features, but for me, it's about the improvement in the footage. That's what really counts. Yes, you can bemoan the lack of 5.7K, but content creators can do fine with 4K footage. And I think the addition of features like the ability to pair up with that DJI mic, the internal storage, and that HDL profile mean there's more than enough to justify the upgrade. I think for vlogging, I would still prefer the Osmo Pocket 3, but would I still add this action camera to my setup? Well, starting at £329 in the UK, I'd have to say that's a definite yes. Let me know what you think about the Osmo Action 5 in the comments section, and please remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.